Doctors of Reddit, what are some of the strangest, most outrageous reactions that you've gotten from telling a woman that she is pregnant? After I found out I was pregnant, the doctor said to come back and to discuss my blood test results. He told me I was anemic and to eat more iron. I was anticipating more bad news when he said what I thought was, "You have syphilis." I started bawling and wondering out loud if my husband was cheating on me. He looked at me irritated and said, "You don't have to pick it, eat it from a can." What my Indian doctor actually said was, "Eat more asparagus." I was so embarrassed, but when I explained to him what I thought he said, he laughed so hard, he had to leave the room. I can just imagine the thoughts going through the doctor's mind, thinking you're crying because you have to eat asparagus. Probably thought you're the most spoiled person ever. Doc told the patient she is pregnant, she replied, but I never had real sex. He goes to the window and starts looking outside. Asked what he is doing, he replies, "The last time this happened, a new star lit up the sky over Bethlehem." A friend of mine is a male to female transsexual. She was admitted to the hospital with abdominal pains, and both the nurses and the doctors thought she was pregnant. She kept insisting that she didn't need a pregnancy test, and they should check for other possibilities. She ended up asking the doctor to check her medical file. He did, apologized, and they found a kidney stone. I can just imagine her insisting the doctor check her records. "You may be pregnant." "Doctor, check my file." "I am not pregnant." Opens file. "How can you be sure? Did you have a histio?" "Oh." Not a doc, but I'm an ER scribe who asked a similar question last week. I asked, "How do you break the news to a 16-year-old girl like that?" And he said, "Come with and find out." We go in, and it's the 16-year-old girl with her grandma there. First thing he says is, "Well, your results are back. Do you mind if your family is here when we talk about them?" Then he told her, and she immediately started crying. The look her grandma gave her said 1,000 words, all of which were whore. Not 5 minutes later, her mom came in yelling, "Slut, whore, fucking cunt," and pretty much anything you can imagine. She had to be escorted out by security. All in all, it was a fairly interesting way to witness my first unwanted pregnancy reveal. My grandmother worked for the medical clinic at her local army base during World War II, and she sometimes got to deliver the news that a woman, usually the wife of a soldier, was pregnant. She told one young woman, who replied, "But that's impossible. My husband has been overseas for more than a year." My grandmother assured her that she was definitely pregnant, and asked if she had had sexual relations with anyone else recently. The woman replied, "Well, yes, but you can't get pregnant with nobody but your husband." The poor girl actually had no idea. Woo! I have a story that is relevant. So my mom nearly died while giving birth to her first child. The doctors were so worried about her health they told my parents that they wouldn't be able to have any more children for the foreseeable future. 5 years later, the doctors give them the go-ahead to have another kid. Things didn't go perfectly with the second birth, and she had to get her tubes tied. There were other medical problems as well. A little more than 2 years pass and they are happy with their little family. But my mother is feeling ill again. It remains for a while. They thought it was a bad cold. But then she starts craving ice. She only craved ice while preggers. She grows in the belly region and is pretty sure she is pregnant. But this is impossible because her tubes are tied, right? She goes to the doctor, the one who performed the surgery, and tells him that she believes she is pregnant. He disagrees entirely. He just will not believe she is pregnant. He performs all sorts of tests trying to figure out what it is, but my mother is insistent. She believes she is pregnant. So finally the doctor says, "Fine, I'll give you a pregnancy test. But when it comes back negative, you have to pay for it. If it comes up positive, I'll pay for it." It fucking comes back positive. The doctor walks in the room and mutters, "Well, you're 7 months along." My mother responded with a classy "I know." Apparently when you get your tubes tied every year after the first one adds a 1% chance of becoming pregnant. There was a 2% of me existing. In medical school, I admitted a 8-month pregnant lady who didn't know she was pregnant. She simply wouldn't accept that she was, and was in denial to a seriously strange way. I was on my psychiatry rotation, so she was admitted to obstetrics for observation, but with our team following. She thought we were performing unnecessary surgery on her when we did the ultrasound. She didn't believe she was delivering while she was. Complete denial and delusional thought, paranoia. After she gave birth, she refused to accept she had a child, and the ministry had to adopt. It was a very distressing case. To my knowledge, she has never accepted the pregnancy. Our doc here once told a lady she was pregnant. The response I got was, no, 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 no. I was a little confused, so I looked to the husband, who also looked confused. And after a moment, he just says, I returned from Afghanistan yesterday. Awkward. I went with my friend once to the ER because she was having issues. I offered to step out of the room when the doctor came back in, but was told to sit tight. Okay, fine, whatever. Doctor tells her she is pregnant, after she denies even having sex ever. She says, that's impossible. My boyfriend and I only did it once and he pulled out. Doctor had to explain to her how that's not safe at all, while I sat in the chair with my face in my palms. Care to divulge her decision following that revelation? She went through the pregnancy, but placed the baby up for adoption. As far as I know, it was a closed adoption. Don't think she even knows the baby's name, but she wanted it that way. Didn't want kids, still doesn't, but couldn't bring herself to have an abortion. My wife was 3 days late on her period. I was the one to notice this, not her. So I purchased her a pregnancy test, and she took it. I remember we were standing in the hallway of our first apartment together, and she was watching the results on the test. I placed my hands on her shoulders, looked into her eyes, and told her, you are pregnant. It is twins, fraternal twins, a boy and a girl, and the girl will come out first. She told me if I knocked her up with twins, she would knock my head off. By the time I finished speaking, a faint line appeared showing positive for pregnant. A few weeks later, she was feeling sick, so we went to the ER. Her pregnancy was confirmed and they did an ultrasound. In a thick Caribbean accent, the ultrasound tech told her, eats tweets, look, see tweets. She did not understand him at first. I did. I thought about running, I didn't. 2 months later, it was confirmed that they were fraternal. 2 months after that, it was confirmed that baby A was a girl and baby B was a boy. They came 6 weeks early. It was a tough pregnancy that ended with an emergency C-section. The doctor pulled my daughter out first, and then my son. But did she knock your head off? When she realized what the tech was saying, she gave me a look like she was about to. But then she noticed there were too many witnesses around. Ever since then, I have always made sure there were potential witnesses nearby. ED nurse here. Lady comes in saying she's pregnant, but she has vaginal bleeding. Pregnancy test comes back negative. Doc asks her why she thought she was pregnant. She says, I was having cravings for chocolate ice cream, and the last time that happened was when I was pregnant. Not exactly what you asked for, but thought I'd share just the same. I'll reference one of the best ways I've heard of a parent finding out the daughter was preggo. Target sends people coupons based on their purchases with their Target card. A father filed a complaint with his local store for coupons that were sent to his young daughter for prenatal vitamins, lotions, etc. It turned out she was pregnant, but she was hiding it from daddy. Target knew before he did, based on her purchases. The dad withdrew the complaint, but it raised issues with personalized marketing. Not a doctor. Still, I thought my story was pretty interesting. I called one of the only OBGYNs that my insurance covered. They said they could not see me for like 2 months. I asked if they could call in a prescription for my birth control pills while I wait for my appointment. The lady refused and said that because they haven't seen me in 6 months, I think it was 6 months, they could not do that. I sort of pitched a fit, but to no avail. The day before my appointment, I took an at-home pregnancy test and it came up positive. So the next day, walking into the office, I pretty much knew I was knocked up. I got into the exam room and the doctor came in. She told me, so you made an appointment for an exam to get birth control pills? I said, yep. Been waiting 2 months, she answered with, I'm sorry we always get so backed up. I know it takes forever sometimes to get 1 inch. I said, yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant now, so can we test for that instead? The doctor got this weird look on her face, asked for a urine sample. She came back 10 minutes later looking sheepish and saying, yep, you're pregnant. For the record, I do not blame getting pregnant on the doctor. That was my stupid move. Still, I thought the dialogue I had with the doctor was really funny. Not pregnant, I'm just fat. I congratulated a friend with a huge basketball belly. She got a little offended and a little resigned, because she wasn't pregnant. She had taken 3 home pregnancy tests, all negative, and been to her GP several times, and the GP refused her a blood test. He meant it was psychosomatic and that she just got fat. Me and another friend insisted that she change GP, and she did. He instantly told her she was pregnant and got her an ultrasound and stuff. She gave birth 10 days after she had the pregnancy confirmed. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.